Welcome to Quantum Curious, and in today's lecture, I am going to discuss some concepts related to the statistical feature of the given field, and in particular for the photon number state. So we have discussed what are correlation function and how they are helpful in describing the statistical properties of the given field. And in this video, I would narrow down the concept for the particular photon number state. So we have discussed that what are photon number state and how can we describe using the concept of the annihilation and accretion operator. So the photon number state are the state that have well-defined photon number, and they have completely randomized value of the phase. So with the help of the correlation function, we could get insights about some physical features of the photon number state, like anti-bunching and bunching of photons. So first, starting with the description of the field operator. So we know that field operator could be divided into two components, that is the positive frequency part and negative frequency part, and they could be described using the annihilation and accretion operator. And we could calculate some correlations values of the field operator in photon number state. So we know that photon number state has average field value of electric field is equal to 0, but it has some fluctuation of electric field, and it increases with the photon number of photons. So similarly, we could calculate the correlation function or correlation values of the negative and positive frequency part of the electric field operator, and uh, we could also calculate the second order values of these correlations. So these calculations are very helpful, and these values of the correlations are very helpful in the calculation that we are going to see today. So let's start with the normalized second order correlation function. So we know that the normalized value of the correlation function has value of this, and it describes the probability of detection of the given field at different position of space and at different interval of time. And the numerator is showing just the expectation value of the field operator at different position and different time. And the denominator is just giving us the normalizable factor. So confining our problem for some simpler case, and we could see that if we confine our detector at one position at one point of space, and detecting at a single moment of time, we could simplify our correlation function. So writing the negative and positive frequency part of the field operator in terms of the annihilation and accretion operator, we get this form. So in order to get some uh, interesting mathematical expression, we would use the commutation relation of the accretion and annihilation operator in that mathematical expression. So we get this form using some simple algebra. So we could see that this has some relation with the number operator, and we know that number operator is just the product of the accretion and annihilation operator. So writing the second order correlation function in terms of the number operator, we get this form, and it is much more interesting than the previous one, as we know that the accretion and annihilation operator are just mathematical trickery, and they are not physical observables, but the number operator is physical observable. So writing uh, number of correlation function in terms of number operator is much more physically realizable. So we could use the value of the fluctuation of the number operator or variance of the number operator, and we could modify the given correlation function in terms of the variance of the number operator. So writing it in that form is much more physical realizable, as we could get to the variance of the variance value of the field from experimental results. So this is much more interesting expression of the correlation function as compared to the earlier form of the correlation function. So let's see an example describing the calculation of the correlation function for the particular quantum state. So we know that variance could be calculated as the expectation value of the square of the number operator minus the average value of the number operator and its square. So we could calculate the n square, the average of the number operator square, and it could be calculated very easily. And we know that it should have value is equal to n square. So there is some kind of typing mistake. And we know that average field has then the average value of the number operator has to be equal to 1, has to be equal to n, sorry. So we could get the value is equal to 0 for the variance of the number operator. So for the photon number state, it is much understandable that the photon number state has well-defined photon number. So the fluctuation of the photon number for the field should be equal to 1, should be equal to 0. So putting all these values in the second order correlation function, uh, we get this form, and it is depending upon the photon number of photons. So for single photon, it has values equal to 0, and for multi-photons, uh, it approaches to 1. So these values are quite important in physical situations, and they are much more uh, of interest of experimental results. So if we have some uh, given electromagnetic field, and if the experimental results show that the correlation function has values equal to 0, then you could infer that there is only single photon present at the given electromagnetic field. And for some classical field like laser field, you would see that the correlation function does approaches the value of 1. So these are very nice categorization of the field using some statistical quantities like the correlation function. So we could categorize the quantum fields and some classical fields with the help of the second order correlation function. So they are more physical realization of the on the basis of the values of the correlation function. So the first one is the photon anti-correlation. So consider we have two detectors, and they are supposed to detect the photons at some particular instant of time. So consider we detect some photon at first detector. So the photon anti-correlation phenomena says that if we detect a photon at first detector, then the probability of detecting the photon at second detector is suppressed. So this tells us the distribution of the photons in the field. And second property is the photon anti-bunching. So it tells us that the probability of detecting photons at two interval of time is much higher than detecting them at single interval. So it shows that uh, the photons has tendency of coming individually at the detector, then to be detected in the form of the pair at the detector. So from the values of the correlation function, we could get some insight about these uh, interesting physical phenomena like anti-correlations of the photons and anti-bunching of photons. So we know that two-level atom could be a source of could be an ideal source of anti-bunched light. So we know that two-level atom is composed of uh, two energy levels, that is the ground state and the excited state. So we know that if the two-level atom is excited, then it would only eject one photon at a particular time. So it could be described as a well-suited source for anti-bunched light. So in order to see how it works, so consider we have second order correlation function, and we could write the correlation function in terms of the spin operators. So we know that spin operators uh, are related to the dipole moment of the of the atom, and electric field is related to the dipole moment of the atom. So we could write the second order correlation function in terms of the spin operators. So seeing that we have second order correlation function at a particular instant of time, that is the tau is equal to 0, that is there is no delay the between the detection at a particular uh, point of space. So we know that s plus square and s minus square is equal to 0. So we get the value of the correlation function is equal to null. So we can see that this is telling us from our previous results that two-level atom is quite a very good source of the anti-bunched light. And it could be seen that consider we have two-level atom and it is excited by some uh, some incident photon. Then after after d excitation, it would emit only one photon at a particular instant of time. So in order to get another photon, we have to excite it again, and it would give only single photon at a particular instant of time. So it is a very good source of the anti-bunch light. So that is how we could get some physical realization of some uh, experimental results from the second order correlation function. So let's move on to the field operators, and we know that we could describe the field operators in terms of the annihilation and creation operator, and we could construct two in-phase and out-of-phase operators that are physical observables, as we could measure directly them into from the experiment. So in-phase and out-of-phase operators are also called quadrature components, and they are well studied in continuous variable quantum optics and or continuous variable quantum information theory. So it we could uh, realize them as uh, phase and amplitude of the given field operator. So, so we know that electric field has two components that, or you can say that a single mode of light has two physical quantities that are or canonical variables that could describe it completely. So if we have n number of modes, then we have two n numbers of these kind of values, and these values follow the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So we cannot measure them simultaneously at each time at each time. So They follow the same commutation relation as followed by the position and momentum of some particle, and we could show that they follow the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So they cannot be measured simultaneously with absolute precision. So the last expression could be described by the photon number state, and using using the expression for info in for out of phase and in phase field quadratures values, and we could calculate uh, their fluctuation, that is the variance of the field quadratures. So they could be calculated very quite easily using the form of the annihilation operator, and how annihilation and accretion operator using for affect the given photon number state. So using these values, we could calculate the in phase, the fluctuation of the in phase and out of phase field operators. And we could see that the fluctuation increases with the given photon number. So we could see that photon number state have well-defined number of photons, but uh, they do not have that much well-defined quadrature components values. So in today's video, we discuss what are correlation functions, and how they are helpful in describing some physical features and physical phenomena related to the quantum field, and in particular for the photon number state. And then we saw that how the two-level atom is a is a well-suited source of a anti-bunched light or single photon source. And then we saw that the field quadrature components, and they are the physical observables, and they could be related as the position and momentum of the given field, as are they follow the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And we show that how the fluctuation of these physical observables the are related to the given photon number. So that's it. That's it for today. And if you like that video, kindly subscribe the channel and suggest some improvement if you find some imperfection in the video. So that is for today. Bye bye.